You can't live soft and fight hard. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. You cannot live soft and fight hard. You gotta live hard and fight harder in terms of what you're trying to achieve in whatever it is you're involved in. And for Coach Andrews, he wanted us mentally to believe we can do what most people say we couldn't do. See, that's the thing. He programmed us from top to bottom. He started with our mentals first, and then if he can get a hold of the mental aspect, he knew the body would follow. So he used to tell us all the time, you know, if I missed the tackle, B-Mac, why did you miss the tackle? I come up with an excuse. He's no, that's BS. You missed the tackle because you didn't want to tackle him. Because if you wanted to get him down, guess what? You would have gotten him down. And at times it really didn't make sense to me. But then as I got older, I'm like, yeah, he's right. You only do things that you want to do. If you want to get him down, you're going to get him down by any means necessary. If you don't want to get beat deep, you will not get beat deep. He only caught the ball because you let him catch it. That was his mindset. That was his logic. And he used to tell us all the time, Christian, as a defenders, if we had an offense get a turnover and the opposing offense, they're in the red area, they will only score if you let them. Don't let them score. Simple as that. And oftentimes we didn't let them score. And it's so funny how mentally, when you exercise that mindset, you can be dominant. You can be dominant. So for Coach Andrews, it's just that toughness. The mental toughness that transitioned into physical toughness is who he was. And when you go back and during your time in college, when you look at some of the defenders who he coached, some of the defensive teams who he coached, they were a splitting image of who he was as a coach.
That's probably the biggest form of gratitude if you're a coach, watching your players emulate everything that you're saying. If you get a good coach and they're telling you the right things, I feel like some kids, they just have a hard time accepting that it may not work. So they're afraid to even try it. Is there any tricks that you could share how to convince a kid that it's okay to fight hard and work hard and live outside their shell?
For Andrews, if you didn't want to believe in what he was telling you, there's always room on the bench.
That's funny. Okay, I get it.
That's what he was saying.
You're gonna believe me. You're gonna believe me, or your ass is sitting on the bench.
Yeah,
I believe.
He felt like there was going to be someone that was going to understand and make that a reality in which he was asking of you. And if you didn't want to do it, guess what? There's plenty of room on the bench. I'll find somebody. I can always find somebody. You know, and he used to always say this as well, Christian. Give me a player that I'd rather say whoa than sick him. I'd rather have to tell you, whoa, calm down a little bit until you go get him. No, I shouldn't have to tell you that.
It's so true. And I tell you what, how lucky are you? How lucky are you? And I say this because you go from Bobby Bowden to Bill Cowher. You go from one of the most respected, revered coaches in all of college football. You could put him in the top 5. And then you go to Cowher, who I'm assuming just kind of really was coaching you exactly how you wanted to be coached.
I say this time and time again when I have football discussions about my football life. Coach-wise, I was in football heaven. To your point, Bobby was my head coach at Florida State. Yeah. The great Mickey Andrews was my defensive coordinator at Florida State. I get drafted to a Hall of Famer in Bill Cowher, and my defensive coordinator was a Hall of Famer in Dick LeBeau. And then when Bill Cowher leaves, in comes this new hot personality in Mike Tomlin, who has evolved to be one of the more consistent coaches ever in the game. And while he was there, I was still being coached by the great Dick LeBeau. Like, if I didn't learn something from those individuals, I cheated myself.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like if I actually wanted to coach, I would be a much better coach than a player because of all the knowledge I was able to soak in on the field, off the field, just hearing the conversations, hearing the coaching techniques, the coaching sayings that also didn't just resonate to football, but they also resonated to life. You know what I mean?